2025 has truly been a groundbreaking year for the XRP ledger, not just because of XRP's price action, but because of the incredible growth in development and adoption around it. The progress we're seeing is nothing short of amazing. What excites me the most right now is tokenization. Today, we're already seeing millions of dollars on the XRP ledger, but when you look beyond it, there are billions of dollars tied to real-world assets in this space. And I believe it's only a matter of time before we see that number grow into trillions. As for the XRP ledger itself, while we're currently in the millions, I'm confident we'll hit billions much sooner than people expect. And eventually, I truly believe trillions of dollars will flow through the XRP ledger being traded around the clock 24/7, 365 days a year. I've talked about this a lot, but we're still in the early days of the tokenization boom. That said, things are moving fast. Just looking at tokenization on public networks right now, the value is sitting at around 13.18 billion, up almost 5% in the last 30 days. The momentum just keeps building. Now let's talk about XRP. It's currently ranked 10th with a value of about 160 million. We'll dive into that in a bit. Beyond that, the total RWA real world asset value on chain is hovering close to 25 billion. It's been fluctuating around the 24 billion mark, but is up about 6% in the last month. And the buzz around tokenization just keeps growing. If we take a look at the news section, we can see just how many tokenization announcements have popped up in the last 24 to 48 hours. It's really piling up. Tokenization is quickly becoming a hot topic, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. When it comes to the XRP ledger, the big thing I'm focusing on right now is that it's sitting at 160 million, putting it in the top 10. But here's the exciting part. I believe by the end of the year, it'll break into the top 5, which means we could see over 415 million on the XRP ledger by year's end. What do I think that? It's all about the flood of announcements we've seen this year. There's been some serious momentum. And if you look at tokenized assets, there's such a variety, everything from stocks, US Treasury bonds, and stable coins to non-US government debt and even real estate. Things are really starting to pick up. At the start of this year, there were only about 5 tokenized assets on the XRP ledger, XRPL. Now we're at 12, and that number keeps growing. Stable coin initiatives are expanding too. Right now, there are 2 stable coins live on the XRPL, but there are 5 or 6 more in the pipeline that haven't been added yet. So there's still a lot coming that hasn't hit RWA's.XRPL just yet. I think we're going to start seeing more of this activity moving on chain over the next few weeks and months. Progress has been a bit slow on some networks when it comes to getting updated on RWA easy, but the momentum is definitely building. Speaking of updates, let's talk about some big announcements from this year. One of the standout moments has to be the Dubai Land Department's groundbreaking real estate tokenization project with Control Alt. This is a huge milestone for Dubai's real estate market and shows just how far tokenization is coming. I'm thrilled to see the XRP ledger chosen as the blockchain for this project. Its decade-long track record of reliability and stability in tokenizing and exchanging digital assets and RWAs really speaks for itself. Taking a closer look at the announcement, it's clear they're aiming big with this move. Sure, the project is starting with just a few $1,000,000, but the potential here is huge. By 2033, this initiative could play a major role in the growth of the 60 billion tokenized real estate market, equivalent to 7% of Dubai's total property transactions. Right now, if we take a closer look, there's just under 3 million tied to the real estate market on the XRP ledger. That might not sound like much at first, but when you think about the bigger picture, like the fact that this market is projected to grow into the billions, it's clear this is an exciting start. Plus, there are already 4 properties tokenized on the XRP ledger, which is a big deal considering the global real estate market is valued at over 600 trillion. That's massive. And it doesn't stop there. This year, we also saw another major milestone. Digital commercial paper, DCP, is now live on the XRP ledger. This announcement from Apex 2025, managed by Guggenheim Treasury Services, is definitely one to watch. They've already issued 280 million through the DCP, but here's where it gets interesting. On the XRP ledger, we can track about 10 million tied to it so far. While we're not sure how much of the total will eventually be tokenized on the XRP ledger, it's worth noting that this asset has a Prime 1 rating from Moody's. Plus, it's a fixed income asset secured by US Treasuries, all on the XRP ledger. Big news for sure, and something to keep an eye on. Now, we've got some exciting updates to share. APAC just announced a new partnership between Ripple and Web3 Salon, supported by Jetro. This initiative is aimed at Japan-based Web3 startups, especially early-stage teams building on the XRP ledger. The focus, DeFi, tokenization, and payments. It's another awesome accelerator program for the XRPL, which means more growth and adoption around the ledger. Definitely something to keep an eye on. But wait, there's more. On the 3rd, another big announcement dropped. Singapore continues to lead the way in blockchain innovation, and now Ripple and Tintity are teaming up to launch an XRP Ledger Accelerator program. This initiative is all about supporting builders and startups across the APAC region. Get ready for an exciting 12-week program focused on RWA tokenization, institutional DeFi, and the power of AI combined with blockchain, plus the chance to secure up to $200,000 in funding. This accelerator is part of Ripple's ongoing commitment to fostering innovation and growth in the APAC region, with Singapore leading the way as a trailblazer in digital innovation. The program is all about nurturing fresh talent and unlocking scalable use cases on the XRP. As the managing partner at Tintity put it, this accelerator isn't just a program, it's a launch pad for builders solving real-world problems with blockchain. Now, this isn't just another accelerator, it's a launch pad for visionary founders to think big, scale globally, and redefine what's possible with AI, blockchain, and the future of finance. We also got to hear from Digital Industry Singapore, highlighting how programs like this provide startups with the tools, networks, and expertise they need to create real-world solutions that meet regulations and drive real economic value. Exciting news. Applications are now open for the XRP Ledger Accelerator, kicking off this September. This is a game changer set to spark even more innovation and growth around the XRPL, which has already been making waves this year. So if you scroll down, you'll see that Singapore has quickly become one of the top hubs for digital assets and blockchain innovation. In 2024 alone, the blockchain sector pulled in nearly 750 million in investments. That's around 60% of all fintech funding in the country. Plus, Singapore is now home to over 300 crypto and blockchain companies and has become a go-to launch pad for global blockchain projects and ideas. The XRPL Accelerator program kicks off this September and will run twice a year, giving a big boost to startups and corporate innovation teams, especially those in Singapore, focused on building next-gen blockchain solutions. The program zeroes in on some of the hottest trends right now, like RWA tokenization, institutional DeFi, and the intersection of AI and blockchain. These are the big narratives shaping crypto this year, and XRPL is right at the center of it all. From new developments and deployments to game-changing partnerships, the growth and expansion of XRPL are really picking up speed. All of this is setting the stage for some amazing use cases to really take off on the XRPL, expanding its utility and driving global adoption of the ledger. It's so exciting to see announcements like these. Now, let's quickly talk about tokenization. Right now, we're looking at around 160 million. Who knows how much more value could come from these recent developments? What we do know for sure is that the tokenization revolution on the XRP ledger is absolutely thriving. There's millions today, billions soon, and who knows, trillions in the future. And here's why I'm so excited. On the 4th of July, Ripple made a massive announcement. Mercado Bitcoin, as part of one of the largest tokenization efforts in Latin America, is bringing over 200 million in real-world assets, RWAs, to the XRP ledger. These assets include fixed income and equity instruments and will connect to a network trusted by over 70 central banks and major financial institutions. Why is this such a big deal? Well, we already have 160 million on chain. Adding this 200 million will bring the total to 360 million on the XRP ledger. That's huge. With this, XRP will officially move into the top 6, edging closer to the top 5. This is exactly why I've been saying that by the end of the year, XRP could claim a top 5 spot. It's all coming together and I couldn't be more excited. Here's the full breakdown of the announcement. Check it out. Exciting news from Mercado Bitcoin, Latin America's top digital asset platform. They've announced plans to tokenize over 200 million in permissioned real-world assets like fixed income and equity instruments, all on the XRP ledger. This move marks one of the biggest tokenization efforts by a Latin American company on the XRP ledger. It's also a smart step in their push to expand internationally, aiming to boost global access to regulated digital products across South America and Europe. The potential here is huge. According to a 2025 report from Ripple and Boston Consulting Group, the tokenization of RWAs is set to explode, growing from around 0.6 trillion in 2025 to nearly 19 trillion by 2033. That's why I keep saying trillions are about to move on chain much sooner than you think. Mercado Bitcoin is already ahead of the curve, having tokenized more than 1 billion in RWAs so far. Mercado Bitcoin is making big moves. Not only has it maintained a zero default rate, but it's also connected to one of the most widely adopted networks in the world, used by over 70 central banks, regulators, and major financial institutions. At the heart of this connection is Ripple, a key player behind the XRP ledger. Ripple is all about bringing high-quality, regulated assets on-chain, and they're supporting Mercado Bitcoin's integration into the XRP ledger. The partnership isn't new. They've already teamed up with Ripple to use Ripple payments for seamless cross-border treasury flows between Brazil and Portugal. They also collaborated on the listing of ROUSD. You already know what that is, making Mercado Bitcoin the first in Brazil to adopt Ripple's solution. The result, faster, more secure, and cost-efficient international payments. We've got some exciting updates to share. Across Latin America, more forward-thinking institutions are exploring how tokenization can make financial markets more accessible and efficient. Mercado Bitcoin's integration with the XRP ledger is a great example of how public blockchain infrastructure is earning the trust of institutions. It's becoming a solid foundation for bringing regulated financial products to market. Thanks to the XRP ledger's robust infrastructure, assets can now be brought on-chain in a way that meets institutional needs for cost, speed, and compliance. It's awesome to see this kind of progress, more tokenization, and growing institutional adoption of the XRP ledger. If we take a look at the Ripple XDev account, there's a lot happening with XRP right now. First off, the EVM sidechain just went live. Huge news. On top of that, key updates to the XRP ledger have also gone live, bringing some exciting upgrades to the table. Scrolling back a bit, even before the sidechain announcement, there were already some major improvements rolling out. One big one, batch transactions. Definitely a game changer. But what really caught my attention were the announcements around Wormhole, which is all about empowering developers and institutions, and the new permissioned DEX. This opens up some big opportunities for institutional DeFi use cases like stablecoin flows and RWA real-world asset flows. What we're seeing in 2025 is so much more than just a tokenization boom on the XRP ledger. It's about equipping the XRP ledger with everything it needs to support institutions at scale, and it's happening right now. This is the year the XRP ledger is really stepping up. While it was never truly retail focused, it's now evolving to fully embrace institutional players, and it's incredible to watch it all come together. The big three to keep an eye on this year: tokenization, stablecoins, and institutional adoption. They're all thriving on the XRP ledger, and the momentum is only growing. I'm super excited for what's ahead for XRP and the XRP ledger. I'm so excited about what the future holds for tokenization. Right now, we're talking about billions of dollars in value, but I truly believe we'll hit trillions by the end of 2026. Networks in this space, like the XRP ledger, are already making huge strides, currently around 160 million on the XRP. I see that growing 10x in no time, and eventually even 1x. Honestly, the potential is limitless when it comes to tokenization. The sky's the limit. Our networks designed specifically for tokenization, like XRPL, are incredibly efficient, and I'm confident they'll become some of the biggest players in the space in the months and years ahead. Why? Because their efficiency is a game changer, and it's something we should absolutely pay attention to. These networks have what it takes to make tokenization happen on a massive scale. And let's not forget, tokenization at scale isn't just about how much money gets moved onto the blockchain. It's about how much money can live on chain and still be transacted, traded, swapped, borrowed against, and lent all seamlessly 24/7, 365 days a year. The truth is, not all networks out there can handle this kind of demand, but the ones that can are paving the way for the future. The XRP ledger is such a game changer, and I really believe its value could grow by 10x, 100x, or maybe even thousands of times. There's just so much money out there, and the potential is huge. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more free content coming your way. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.